It's like a scary movie where the monster's like on your leg and you run through the door and he accidentally and you hit him in the face just the right way and close the door. And then you're still on the other side of the door going like...
And then he comes in the window.
Yeah. Game over.
Welcome to Shankcast episode number 7. Today we're going to be kindling up the fiery discussion of who's going to win the most Grand Slams. And I think now the conversation is just more relevant than ever with Nadal just having won his 19th Grand Slam. I feel like just a couple years ago, it felt to me like people were just kind of making drama out of it. Like, oh man, people might catch Rafa or Roger. And in the back of my mind, I was always like, whatever. Like, we all know like Roger's just going to finish with the most slams. And now, oops, yeah, Nadal.
Not so much.
Yeah, if you asked me to make this prediction 5 years ago, I would have been like it's not really much of a conversation. Now it really, I mean,
it's a conversation.
Yeah, Djokovic, a little. We'll get into the conversation, but
yeah, I think we should just FYI like go through how many each person has. So
currently Djokovic at 16, Nadal at 19, Federer at 20, and we're going to include Serena Williams in this conversation. We're basically going to answer two questions: who's going to finish? Who do we believe? We're making our predictions right now, as of what is today, September 10th. 2019.
Stand the test of time.
Yeah. Our grandchildren will be able to look back and be like, man,
he was wrong.
Grandpa Ian just didn't know what the hell he was talking about. So yeah, we're going to make our predictions today for who will win the total slam count, all genders included, and then also who will win just the men's. Because I think it's two different conversations. And we're getting to the point now where it could conceivably happen.
And this is within the next 10 years, not like for the rest of our lives.
Current players.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
current. I don't think any. Well, yeah, current players. Your big three and your Serena. So we didn't decide who's going to start today. Who's going to start?
Megan can start. I started last
So let's
time.
start with the total. So including Serena, who do we think is going to finish? Is it going to be Serena, or do any of the men have a chance of passing her? She's currently at 23.
I think Djokovic is going to come from
I
behind.
didn't see that.
The total past Serena?
Yes,
Wow.
I do.
That's
over the next 10 years, because Serena and Fed are the same age, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Right around the same age, within a year.
I'm gonna look up all the ages right now.
Rafa and Djokovic are the same age.
Off by a year, I think. I think Rafa's
Is a
1
year
year older.
Okay, roundabouts. They're all yeah.
All right, yeah. Roger's 38. Serena is 37.
38. Wow.
Yeah. Younger than
That's
you, Kevin
so
Garlington.
impressive.
And so
So you're saying I can still win Grand Slams?
Yep, there you go.
And Rafa is 33, whippersnapper. And Djokovic is 32.
Okay, yeah. So this is literally one of the reasons why I believe that is because Djokovic has a year longer, assuming everyone plays to the same year,
Sure.
which is not going to be always the case. But I'm just saying, like, say they play till they're 40. Just saying, because Federer, that's only
Federer,
2 more years
absolutely
for Federer.
possible, yeah. I think there's big question marks when it comes to Djokovic and Nadal.
Yeah,
right.
I'll let you finish.
I feel like Nadal's game is so aggressive on his body that I'm not 100% sure he's going to be able to play at that level. Granted, Djokovic has had some injuries, so, you never know. But my prediction is that Djokovic will be able to surpass the...
He defaulted just like 5 days ago with an injury, right?
I know. But I really and truly feel like he does a good job of recovery and getting back into the groove after injuries and coming back and still doing really well. So that's my prediction. We'll see.
All right, what's the number?
Oh, wow. Number.
Yeah, what does Djokovic finish with 10 years from now? Or however long he plays.
25.
25. So he wins another 9.
What?
The crazy thing is, like, I see, like, it's doable.
Yeah.
Like, if he wins one and a half a year for the next, like, 5 years, like, he's right there. And he's 32.
Okay.
How many has Federer won in the last 7 years, 6 years?
Yeah, I'll have to look that up.
Yeah.
Yeah, this would be interesting. I have a B. Okay.
Because I'm saying he has another 8 years, possibly, barring
Federer?
injuries of playing.
Djokovic.
What's
Djokovic.
crazy is that we're having a real conversation about whether or not professional tennis player can go to 40. And I mean, Roger's right there on the doorstep, obviously, so it's obviously doable. But can you imagine 10 years ago being like, oh, yeah, players will...
Agassi...
I don't think that's
Agassi
really the
and
conversation. I
Sampras,
think they can go to 40. I think it's
When did
playing
they
at
retire?
that level.
Agassi retired at, I think, right around 39, maybe? 40?
No.
Oh, older?
Agassi was 36.
Oh, 36. Okay, and so Sampras, I think, was right around there, 35 too, right?
Retirement age. Sampras was 32.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah. So,
I mean, Agassi kind of made a comeback too, right? Like
Yeah.
he
Right.
dropped way out in his like early
141 he dropped down to, and
Yeah.
it came back.
yeah. Top 10, right?
I think he might
Or
have
like
got back
12
to
or
one.
something?
No, he got back
Oh.
inside the top 5. He
Okay.
won a Grand Slam. He beat Andre Medvedev, and that was like that big comeback.
Oh, yeah, I
He
remember
was
that,
down
yeah.
2 sets to. I think
I
it was
wish
like
I
2
could
sets
say
to 1.
Agassi was going to be... not, that obviously, he's not going to make another comeback.
All right, so I'll go next. Man, as the players get older, it's tougher and tougher. Serena is showing this. Roger is showing this. I mean, Roger's had many resurgences. Is that the right word?
I don't know,
Is
but
that
that's
the
a
right
good word.
plural or
I like that.
resurgence?
Resurgence. I like it.
Roger's had a bunch of them over the years. So much respect for him for continuing to fight and find a way to find the next level and the next level and the next level, and have the motivation and the drive, because it's so much effort. And as you get older, it's like exponentially tougher to stay healthy, and to have that output of energy mentally and physically is just incredible. And I think we're seeing a little bit of that from Serena. I think the field has narrowed the gap for sure with her over the last couple of years. And I think the pressure is really heavy on her right now to win that number 24, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. To tie Margaret Court. And so Roger's still right there. But it's not like the old days where he was just like,
Right.
just on autopilot, like every single tournament, like to the finals. It was incredible. And so I don't see the guys passing Serena. So my call is going to be Serena.
How many?
Yeah, I'm going to go. She passes Margaret Court by 1, and she'll end up in this era being the all-time slam
At 25?
champion. So yeah, 25 Serena.
So here's an interesting factor. I'd be interested to hear what you think. Do you think that a lot of it has to do with, there was a time period for Serena, and quite a long time period, that there wasn't a lot of girls that were giving her the kind of competition that you had. Nadal always like knocking on Federer's door. Yeah. And so there were times where it wasn't, there were a lot of times in the women's, like I was like, well, in the beginning of the draw, like, well, there's no one else,
Totally.
But, and maybe Venus was but it was so big of a distance between them. I felt like Serena was always, like one step ahead, where the men's, there's always been at least 2 people that have battled out. And so they didn't always just repeat, like, I'm just going to win 4 this year, and I'm going to win 4 next year and the next year, kind of thing.
Yeah, like I said, I think the field has narrowed the gap quite a bit. There's a couple players now that are actually a legitimate threat for her.
Right.
Whether or not she would admit to that.
Yeah, probably not.
And so, yeah, it's more difficult for sure, which is why I'm saying only 2 and not like another 10. Because she's been in another 4 slam, finals since her last one. So she's right there. I could totally see her pulling out, 2 more in the next 12 to 18 months.
Serena's how old again? She's
37.
Oh, 37.
Oh, 37.
Yeah.
Okay.
Another full year there. Kevin, what's your call? All-time men's and women's.
I think with Serena's going to have the all-time men's and women's, even without winning an extra one. I think this is really tough.
Really? So you don't see any of the big 3 getting past 23 or tying her at 23?
And so kind of to address what Megan was talking about before, I think which he's proved it. He's just proved it. Nadal, hats off to Nadal. I'm a hardcore Roger fan, but hats off to the guy. Where we've talked about his body, we've talked about the body breaking down for like decades now, and he's just like, look at me now. I mean, come on.
This is amazing.
Yeah, I mean,
he hardly has any injuries.
Yeah,
It's
we're
incredible.
like, your forehand, it's just the whippy forehand, it's your arm, your shoulder's gonna fall off. It's gonna fall off. And the guy's like winning
10
19
years
Grand
later,
Yeah,
he's like,
it's still there, guys. It's still there. I just want to let you know. So I think Serena, I give her maybe one more Grand Slam. The reason why.
So she's going to tie Margaret Court, or is she going to pass?
I think she's going to tie. I think she's had the last 4 she's been in finals. She hasn't connected. I think it's just harder. And I think age is playing its I'm sorry, it's just you can't run from it. Age is playing a huge factor. So I give her 1 because the field for her is just younger. They're younger, and I think
Way younger.
more so than that. The other people believe, and I think that's more dangerous than anything else. Is that
they're younger, but they're also bringing this Serena-like physicality to the game that didn't used to be there back when she was just rolling through
Yeah, it
drugs.
was just her.
But I
and
think more
Maria,
of those younger players now see it like, oh, she's not invincible, and I think I feel like that was like when you looked at Pete Sampras, where he was on autopilot. Literally, like there were stories of dudes going like, I got Pete first round. I'm going to go ahead and book the flight. I mean, literally, guys were just like, he's unbeatable. And I think when that belief changes for players and they're like, I can do this. So-and-so did this. I can do this. It's just going to get harder and harder for her. I watched her interview and she said she didn't play the best, and she didn't. But I think that's why, because it's just harder.
She always says
but
that,
here's
though.
the thing. I think it's just harder to play your best in those moments. We've watched Roger come into the men's. We've watched Roger have opportunities, and just certain times where Roger in the past has just been rock solid. There's the little trip up of opportunity, and you're like, dude, Raj. And I think it's just age. And so I was looking at this chart, which is very interesting. It talks about the amount of Grand Slams before 30. And as they pass 30, where it gets tougher. So, I don't know what's the last year he has on this. It was like 2015. But after 30, there was like a hiccup where Roger won 4 Grand Slams. And that's for Roger. Nadal has 3 now. On here it has 3, but now he has 4. Djokovic has 2. It's just tougher. And I think for the guys, the thing about the guys is, you have those 4 guys, but everybody's hunting those guys. It's just not easier.
the draw.
So it pains me to say this. God, it pains me to say this. I'm so hurt. Roger, forgive me. I think Nadal's going to come out ahead
Of Serena?
of the guys.
Oh, so all right. So let's
I
transition
think-
to the guys.
Yeah,
only now.
I think Serena's got the guys.
But
I think
she's not going to surpass Margaret Court, so they're going
I
to
don't
be
think
tied
she's going
for
to.
all
I think
time.
she's going to be tied for all time.
She taps out 24.
I think 24.
All right, now,
maybe
what
if
do
she
you-
has some mental fortitude, something really deep that if she can get to tie, maybe. But I just think the field is just too tough.
Close
so
in.
I think they're closing her. I mean, I just think.
All right, where do you think Rafa finishes?
Roger? You're the man, though. This is so painful to say. I think Roger.
Sounds like the beginning of like a R&B song.
Roger. You're the man.
My mind's
love
telling
you.
me no, but Roger. I think Roger can squeak out 2 more. I think Roger can hit the 20, and he has enough in the gas.
That would be 21, right?
Roger's at 20 now.
He's that would be 22.
So 22?
20
Roger?
would tie him with Federer. He's
Oh,
one
I thought you
behind.
were talking about Roger.
Yeah,
Correct.
he's one behind Federer.
Yeah,
So he has
Rafa's
19
at
right
19.
now.
Yeah.
One would tie. I think he can squeak out 2. I think
And you think Roger's done?
Roger can squeak out 1 more, but I don't know. I think that the difference is right now when you look at the 3, and the tough part is there's just 3. There needs to be a 4th to balance the power, because someone kind of, if they're playing
Someone
really
gets
good,
screwed in the draw.
yeah, someone gets a little bit when they get to the quarters
Totally.
or semis. It's like, oh, I don't have to play the other guy, so
Yeah.
it's like. But I think right now, Nadal has the mental fear of the rest of the game. They just know that he's just proving it over and over again that I am so freaking tough. And if you slip up, I mean, this last Grand Slam at the age he is, going through what he's gone through, to be 2 sets up, then lose 2 sets, and then still fight and pull it off. I think, God, like we've seen Roger go through it, but he just doesn't connect on it. And I think that, again, with the guys, more people are starting to believe like Roger is beatable. and he has to play really good because people just think it. And I think with Djokovic is mentally up and down, and he has years where he's on fire, unbeatable, but then he goes through kind of like, okay, the cool off period. And I don't think he can sustain like what Roger and Nadal has done through time. So I think right now Nadal is the feared kind of guy. You know he's going to win another. I mean, on clay, let's look at it like, just put it, he's got crazy 12 clay court titles. He's going to win at least one more. I cannot not see him winning at least one more clay court title. So he can do it just on the dirt alone. The fact that he's still doing.
But that's not, I mean.
What?
How many Grand Slams are clay?
One.
Right. So.
Yeah, but I'm saying he's 32. You're saying for the next 3 to 4 years, he's not going to win another one clay court.
You're saying he's going to get how many total?
Well, I'm saying he's going to pass.
How many total?
Oh, we want to go. Oh, you're going to bring it. You want to bring it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
On a number.
You want a number? I'll give you a number. So if I'm looking at the whole picture, he's going to win probably at least 1 or 2 more clay court titles. I think Australia is his toughest surface, and Wimbledon, it's a toss-up. So I think he can probably squeak out 3, if not 4, with the confidence he has right now.
What's your number?
I'm adding. Can you not hear me adding? Can you hear me adding?
So you said Serena 24, correct? You thought tie?
Actually, now going through it with Megan's help, doing maths on audio, I think he can squeak out another 4 because I think he's got the clay court in the back.
But what did you say about Serena?
24.
I think Serena can squeak out 1 more.
Okay.
So 24.
So 24.
Yeah.
And then Rafa?
What 4?
So 23.
Yeah. Okay. And then Roger can maybe squeak. I'm loving Roger, so I'm going to squeak him out with like at least 1 more. He's got to make it interesting.
So 21.
Yeah.
And then
Djokovic will give him like maybe 2.
18? Wow.
Yeah, I just don't think unless he goes gluten-free, he goes meditation in the mountains.
It's the way to be.
Yeah, I know. And he keeps his other parts of his lifestyle really clean.
Oh my God.
You know, he needs no distractions. If he could do that, then Djokovic is the man. But I just don't know if he can do that. What's so funny? I mean, clean eating, clean lifestyle.
Clean eating. Okay.
Yeah.
Clean eating.
Clean eating.
Right.
Yeah. just clean eating. But I think if he can keep those parts of his life under control, he can do it. But I just don't think I don't know. And the other thing is there's other people coming now. The door is open. Like we just saw Medvedev. I mean, we're seeing it's a one thing, but you're starting to see
it's like
glimpses.
I feel like it's like the flavor of the month of like hopeful. Yeah. Where we had team like looking incredible for a couple months.
I think you still do.
And the draw makes a huge difference.
But I think when you have like guys like Team, Medvedev, these younger guys are starting to believe they're going to start taking out these guys a little bit earlier.
I feel like people have been saying that for 10 years, though.
But he has. And my team made it to the finals of the French.
I understand.
But
who's won the slams? Like nobody.
Yeah, I know. But now, it used to be.
Here's the thing. For Team to like.
I really like Team.
I love his game.
Yeah, I love his game. I think before we would see everybody winning the Grand Slams, and it was just those guys. But those guys were always, it was like quarters, semis. It was like just like basically everybody else was in the draw just to see where you're going to lose, and those guys would show up in the quarters and the semis. You're not seeing.
It's not like the old days.
It's not like the old days, and I think that's the thing.
But they're all still capable, and that's what's going to make the next year or two unbelievably. I feel like this is the golden era to watch tennis because
we said that back when.
I know, right?
It's getting crazy now.
It's every 10 years. I think it's every 10 years. There's an era that's like. Okay,
can't get better than this.
Right, exactly. And every 10 years we say like, this is the
era.
Like
Pete
you gotta
Sampras,
buy
Agassi.
all the tickets, like go watch tennis.
We're so
and then
lucky.
10 years later, it's like, okay, this is the era. Like I just
I'm so scared of whenever it finally goes to the other side of the hill.
And then there's
a resurgence,
another
and
then everybody talks about how tennis is horrible
Federer, Nadal,
and it's falling
Djokovic,
down.
Serena,
That's true.
when the four of them are all gone.
And I think
like sure, team's great, but no disrespect.
The other factor
up like Djokovic did. Djokovic 5 years ago, nobody even liked the guy. He was like making fun of everyone, and he was like
the one factor
Joker.
that I think Roger has for him, but it's gonna really he's got a family, And I think as he gets older, the priorities of like, dude, how many kids does he have?
Twins of twins
He has
of twins of twins.
Twins of twins. Mirka is an angel to travel around with 4 twins of twins, taking him to Grand
Four
Slams.
twins of twins.
But I mean, at some point, I think, you know, he talks about it. He wants to be a father.
Novak's got that going too.
Yeah, but twins
Just
of twins?
Not the twins of twins.
Twins of
but
twins?
He's
Okay, yeah.
He's got kids though.
Exactly. So who doesn't have kids?
Rafa.
Yeah. So,
Rafa's got tennis.
Rafa's got Uncle Tony.
yeah. So I think that's as you get older, I think you start looking at like different parts of your life and going like, I mean,
Yeah, but they're not even 40. It's not
but I mean,
they're like
we're not talking about
50 years
normal
old.
like human years. We're talking about tennis years,
Right.
not like dog years. Tennis years here. And so 40 is
Dog
like
years.
it's crazy. It's
like 85.
It's nuts that he's 38 and he's still up there winning Grand Slam. But I mean, at some point you go, you know, and I think the other thing, which is the tough thing, is now that Federer's won, Roger, I can't get him out of my head. Now that Nadal has won one more, in the back of his mind, he's like, oh God, if Nadal wins one more, you start going like, okay, can I do this?
I hope to God that they both they're both at like 21 or something, and they play in like a Wimbledon final or something like that. Can you imagine?
I know.
What Grand Slam was it that they've never played
US Open.
each other?
They've never played each other in the final of.
But I mean, like if you
or
look
no,
at
all,
At
I think.
all,
Yeah,
yeah.
which is crazy.
But if you look at like Roger had some opportunities, like he had the last Wimbledon. Oh my God, it brings me to tears.
Yeah.
If he had that and then he comes in, has a really good U.S. Open, I think he would have sealed the deal. I think he would have crushed.
Conversation.
Yeah, it's a different conversation. But because of that not winning Wimbledon, Djokovic won it there, and then Djokovic kind of like injured out. I mean, again, like with Djokovic, perfect opportunity. Win Wimbledon, come back, win the U.S. Open, and really secure his spot of like being, I'm going to get to the end of the race. But I think Nadal really pats off.
All right, Megan. And by the way, I'm making a tally here. How many did you say for Novak? You said 25?
25.
Right, 25
I'm going with the underdog.
That's all
Okay,
about
where
the
does
bad boy thing.
Serena finish?
Yeah, it's definitely the bad boy finish. What?
Bad boy finish? What's
Bad
that?
boy.
Keep it clean. Remember, Novak's
20.
I'm talking about tennis here.
keeping it clean. 24. Mm-hmm. All right, for Serena. All right, and then so Roger and Roger. Yeah, I got Roger in the brain too. Rafa and Djokovic. Where do they finish up?
No, Djokovic is 25. I already got that.
Yeah,
one.
Roger and Rafa.
Okay. Let's see. For him to be okay.
Do the math.
Yeah, I got to do the math.
At a time.
I'm going with Roger gets 2 more. Sorry, I'm thinking.
22.
And Rafa gets he gets to 23.
Wow.
See, I influenced her.
No.
You didn't think about the French Open. I think that's
big. That's big.
Yeah, the fact that he's won 12, that's incredible.
But remember, Novak only has to win like 1.5 per year for the next 8 years.
But if we look at statistics, after 30, the chances of winning Grand Slam starts to deteriorate.
I have faith. I'm all about the underdog.
Underdog.
All right, my call is, as I said before, is Serena finishing at 25.
So it's 2 more?
1.
Two
2
more.
more.
Two more. Yeah, I think she'll pass Margaret Court by 1. And then coming in second, I've got Rafa.
Oh, look at your face.
I've always been torn between Roger and Rafa. Roger, and I've been saying this for years. I'm sure I can go back years and find other conversations. But Roger, aesthetically, has always been my favorite.
Yeah.
Just like everybody else. It's like, you gotta love the
It's like an angel on the court.
flow and the one-handed backhand that I'll never have. And there's just
That's really the only reason.
yeah. So aesthetically and as far as it being an ambassador for the game and just everything that he's done for the game of tennis, the way that he's done it, the way he's carried himself, the guy hasn't had a single even gaffe. I was gonna say what's the word? Some kind of fallout or like some kind of scandal. Like not only has he not had a scandal, but he like doesn't even make like a misstep like in an interview like ever.
Yeah, that's true.
The guy is just like,
he's too good to be true.
Guys, stop right now.
This is going the wrong direction. We've been unbelievably fortunate to have him, in the game. And so how can you not have him be like a favorite if you're a tennis fan? But year after year after year, for me, like you were saying, Kevin, like Rafa just does not blink. Like if you do not forcibly take it from him, he does not give up like an inch ever. And
yeah, even if he's like super like down and out.
Like that Wimbledon match. I mean, I was like,
you have to beat him. Like he will not give you anything. And I respect that so much, like his competitive spirit and fight. And it's starting to edge out. Like for me, like I have a hard time not going with him for like my favorite player, which is hard because I love aesthetics. Like I love technique. Like that's like a huge part of what I love about tennis. But Roger has blinked so many times over the years, and they've all gone through their periods where they don't win as much as maybe they used to. But Roger, yeah, it's hard to see him have the opportunities and then be the one that blinks over and over again. Not that it's happened a million times.
But he's also 6 years older.
Well, yeah, I mean, but I think just to agree with you, the difference between, like, I feel like when Roger loses some of these big matches, he's missing opportunities. And
right.
when Rafa loses the big matches, you had to like take a crowbar and hit him off your leg. He's not letting go, and then you got
leg.
And then you get left. It's like a scary movie where the monster's like on your leg, and you run through the door, and he accidentally and you hit him in the face just the right way and close the door, and then you're still on the other side of the door going like.
And then he comes in the window.
Yeah. Game over.
Yeah, and so I have to go with Rafa for all-time men's. I think Serena gets all-time.
At 25, you
all
said?
Time. I'm putting Rafa at 23. So yeah, I think he gets a couple more clays and then like one or two other hard court.
No.
So yeah, I'll put him at 23. Roger, I think he wins another. Like the guy, you can't ever.
He's got it. When
as long as he's playing, you have to say like there's a chance. So I'll give him another one. And then
isn't that hard to say? I'll give him another one.
Yeah.
It's like
Djokovic, I'll put up to 20. He's unbelievably talented, and the thing is, he's got the mental and the physical ups and downs. Like Rogers had some mental, almost no physical. Rafa's had some physical, but no mental. And then we've got Djokovic, who's had a little bit of both. Like
that's why I think it's could be such a big thing because he's the youngest.
Yeah.
And he has the most amount of time if everyone plays.
But what do you say to the mental and physical volatility part of it?
I'd say that it could play in his favor because for the fact that what if he has like an unbelievable, like good mental and good physical year, he could win, a couple years, he could win a whole bunch.
But he's only really done that like once for a prolonged.
But I feel like you live and learn and it gets better as you get older.
Megan's the optimist here.
Yeah, I know. This
is
ironic.
The whole
bad boy
This
thing.
is ironic.
It's really just the bad boy thing.
Just like him. He's like I like him because people didn't like him because he was like making fun of other people like in the beginning. But I thought
did you like him back in the day?
Yeah,
I love it.
I thought it was like because I felt like it was coming from a place of like just banter and not like just being mean. And
he had a little bit of both, I think. It was more banter.
I felt like it was banter, and I felt like it was like encouraged by his team and by people around him. And so when that happens, then you just keep doing it.
I mean, you had his dad in the stands with like the wolf shirt. You remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Day?
But like I felt like it was like, that's what I mean. Like it was encouraged. That was what he was around.
Totally.
And so, and then I felt like he really, I mean, no one back then thought he was going to be top 3. And like no one thought he'd be one of the people to reckon with at the very top of the game. And I just feel like he hasn't gotten to the top of his game yet.
He's come a long ways, but you compare his like cumulative resume with Rafa and Roger, and it's like, unbelievable talent, like he could do it. Like I'm not saying it's impossible, but what I am saying is like the
chances are
statistical
low. Yeah. No, I got
chance
that.
of it happening.
But that's why I like the underdog. Like
All right,
he
I
could
respect
possibly. I just feel like he needs like 2 or 3 really good years, and then
He could go on a run.
I think he's definitely the type of player who can go
like,
on a run, but statistically speaking, going on a run is just really tough.
It's hard.
And it takes, for me, the tough part about it, going on a run for him, it takes what you're talking about that he struggles with, which is the mental. The mental to completely lock it down, keep it clean, focus on what he's trying to do. I think that's just because that is the volatile part of it. The bad boy, have fun, like poke. He's just that guy. Which
There's
is
part of him that enjoys being
it's
the
part of
villain.
it. He enjoys it, and so it's like a value proposition of like, do I enjoy this enough to shut it down to win Grand Slams? And but the thing is, he knows I'm already considered in the group of greatest players of all time.
Right, but he's also the youngest, which means that he maybe hasn't hit his maturity peak yet either. Like in the sense of maybe in 3 or 4 years. I mean, look at what happened. Okay, so if you compare the last 4 years of where he was to where he is now, and you double that compared to now to 4 years from now.
If he goes on that run again.
Right, then it could very well happen. So that's what I'm going with.
Yeah, no, I think that, but I think when you look at like people in the past who've gone on these runs, there's been kind of this come to Jesus moment, like Agassi when he went on his run.
There's like a bottom out. Like
there's a bottom out where Gil Reyes was like, dude, you're going to do this or you're not. And I'm going to either kind of
maybe this is the bottom out. You never know.
I just don't feel like this is a bottom out point. I think he's still like in the kind of mix and he's like.
Maybe he's just still on the way up.
Yeah, I know. You're super hopeful, which is very interesting. So, yeah.
All right. So just to recap, we got Megan calling Djokovic as the ultimate champion at 25. Got Kevin calling Serena at 24, and myself calling Serena at 25.
But it can't really. So if 24, then it's Margaret and her are tied.
No.
Yes.
Right?
No.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
I actually, what
So
did I
there's
say
no all
with
time,
what did I say
ever.
with
It's infinite.
Nadal?
Yeah, tie.
Infinite tie. What did I say with Nadal? What was the number? Did I give him 4 more?
You gave Nadal 23, Roger 21.
So painful, but I think.
And Djokovic just 2 more at 18.
This is the story of our marriage right
here's
here.
the thing. I honestly think, depending on how the next,
Next time Djokovic beats Rafa, you're going to be so pumped.
Yeah.
Novak, you got this.
Yeah, I think depending on how the next, what's coming up. We got the U.S. Open, we got the end of the year championship, then we have turnaround in Australia.
It's basically nothing like all time that matters until Aussie again.
Yeah. I think the best place for Djokovic to do it is going to be the Aussie. It'll be really interesting, but I think also the Aussie is a weird place where newcomers can sprout up, and it does
Because
some
there's
weird,
like heat and all kinds of
it's
crazy.
who really wants it. So I mean,
environmental.
I think that tournament really sets the tone. If Nadal can win the Aussie and that, dude, it just I almost give him 1 more because I just don't.
Novak had more time to rest.
But here's the thing, I just don't know who I really see like pushing Nadal on clay, and that's the scary part. I think the clay court.
He could win every clay.
I think here's the thing, though. That's the scary part that kind of puts me on the off balance. I love Nadal to death.
Could do it.
Could do it. The thing where he's so dominant on clay, which is hard to kind of like go all time greatest, but he's in there. He's in there.
Are you going back on your numbers?
No, I'm not going back on my numbers.
Check.
I'm just expressing myself about how dominant he is and how, because he's so dominant, that's the roll of the dice. Because he could maybe squeak out even more. And if he knows
33, if you give him the French another 3 or 4 years, I mean,
and then he just collects like 1 or 2
Rafa?
little.
Rafa, you gave 23, so
how many?
3 more. I'm sorry, 4 more.
4 more.
Ah.
So see, that's clay. Winning clay, 4 years.
No, I think he can do more on other surfaces now. He's proved it. So I think that's the mystery number. If he remains dominant on clay, it's scary what he might be able to do.
All right, we'll just have to wait and find out.
History.
Any final thoughts?
Go Novak.
I don't want to say go Rafa. I'm like Kevin. Like I'm still torn. Like I think Rafa will. I think Rafa will pass him, but it's going to hurt me a little bit.
But I think that's my other battle is that I don't like Rafa more than Roger. And
Why?
I just
morally, can you tell me why?
Nope, morally, that's the reason why. Like I love, for some reason, he's just such a pretty player. Like Roger is such a pretty player. Like and Rafa's, to me, he's so aggressive and so
it's
like,
just like the brute.
like it makes me, it's the reason that we're opposites in everything is because he's like so tense. Like I feel like when I'm watching Rafa, I'm like, whoa, like I'm clenching everything and I'm just sitting there like, and when I watch Roger, I'm very relaxed and everything looks pretty. And
everybody understands that,
I think that's my other issue is that I don't like watching Rafa
Some people
as much.
prefer the
exactly.
macho, yeah.
I love the aesthetics of Roger. I mean, it's just absolutely gorgeous. But I absolutely respect.
I respect it.
There's also there's
the
a
fight.
deep part of me that like it's like the Rocky get hit in the face and you're like, come on, bring it. And I just really. I respect Rafa so much because I respect how much he's a fighter, and it's like no matter how bad you beat him in a set, you just know you're not safe. Like, what was the set where someone, like, he lost, like, 6-0?
He was 6-1. Yeah. It may have been team.
Yeah, and, like, didn't he win that match? It was, like, basically,
it was something like that.
Yeah, it was, like, team in the interview was like, dude, I beat him, and I was afraid.
I remember, yeah.
He was like, dude, no one does that, and you just know he's going to, like, come out.
He said something like, I've never seen tennis like that before.
As he's playing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which tells you a lot about somebody when you can beat Nadal like that, and then but you know like this isn't normal.
Yeah, I'm not saying I don't have respect. I just don't like, for some reason, I think it's my
just preference.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's why it's a
Go Novak.
conversation.
Different preferences.
All right, so now we're on the record. Be interesting to hear from all of you. If you have any comments or you think we're full of it or anything else, let us know.
We'd love to hear that.
Yeah, totally. And let us know about other conversations that you think we should have here on the Shankcast. Send us an email to support@essentialtennis.com. And also, as of right now, we've got about 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks left, where you can score a free course from Essential Tennis just by subscribing, rating, and reviewing the show on your iPhone or on iTunes. And just send us a screenshot of that and let us know what program you'd like, and we'll hook you up just till the end of September 2019. With that, thanks for listening. Tons of great reviews, by the way, continue to come in.
Yeah.
We appreciate that a ton.
We do really
thank
appreciate
you.
that.
We're enjoying making the show a lot, so it's fantastic to hear that somebody actually likes to listen to it.
Yeah, and we're taking all of your suggestions down as well. So don't think that we're just
more great
not
topics coming up.
Absolutely. So thanks for listening. We'll catch you next time.